wanted to make another video that was kind of a more far apart from what I was working on. So, pretty much just a good guide right there. But, we have different segments, and, it's an easy feature. Kind of to space out the correct order of release dates or whatever. Not that it's ever is or gonna be an issue. So I want to show when you're downloading Sandbox Maker, you're gonna see one of these, and this is one, and I can have this in the edit. Mine's not perfect because it's an alpha, and I never complained about anything for that taking any of my time. So pretty much here's the genuinity of somebody saying something just for saying it is kind of a bit different. So I want to show some of the other stuff that I was working on. Well, I do think that it has to be this one. Well, it's so like perpendicular with like this minuity of expecting whatever that is. I'm like, what is that doing in my space? But anyways, that's not the thing. I'm sick of this rhetorical one. Panther, they not assume something to say didn't get the next line. It's pretty easy. So despite whatever, so if you switch it to the painting, and this one will magnify by that surface to that. But I've been working to try to figure out how to deal with this semicolon. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure it doesn't mean that anybody got me on my on my letter line, because I'd be pretty quick. Even though it's kind of like similar to like that crocodilian kind of person. But maybe if it's like, if you did it like this, then it's easier to do that surface. Wow, that already looks way better. I know, to be calling me monkey, I mean, hopefully you're a friend, and, two, like, crushes that I've had, so that's different than somebody that is not, so we'll take this one to this one, and then I'm going to do this to a surface, and this is the materialize button, the select button. I don't really use that, but we'll click on this to make some of these ones over here, and then we're gonna make a sushi if we can. So there we go, some sushi right there. And then what does the sushi have on top of it? Does it have like the white space of the rice then on top of it, the thing? I've been just listening to music, and I thought, like, I was considering, did I want to go out to like the East Goodwill and the the North one, the Apple one, and I said, nah, not today. Not in that reality, so that was pretty much funny. I mean, thank you. I mean, someone who is, wow, dude, it's like the potential of the actual names of the fantasy creatures of what that is like for what I did in my Darian's diary or Dare's diary. And we'll see how those words manifest to the things that you're trying to say. I was like hoping that Central West Lane was gonna help, and it's more like this is Holland. I'm like, wow, I got such a great proposition on what was going to be there, and then it's like, I'm going to demand somebody's name preemptively to say that something is nothing because I cannot find myself to the values that I hold in fascistism. So I was like, yeah, whatever. It's unfortunate, but like how the design of the motion is like in parallel with somebody that may not be in my interest. So yeah, I was making this sushi thing. I think you are a prick for saying that, and you should. It said from this one, from baby, little baby. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have him go out for his week by himself, and then see what he says. By how are you gonna know something to have it in an argument? First off, nobody, at an adult at age 25 with somebody at that same time should be an issue like that. You're like, wow, I'm so humble. Don't talk about my son. Now I'm suddenly in this realm of something I don't understand where I don't even like relatives. Yeah, I'm pretty disappointed. That's a complete castration of what I was even talking about. That's not really proof of what you got going on. So we'll add some mochi dots to our thing right here. I don't know if we go to erase on the switch that it's more cubic. I was like, my team for that, dealing with whatever. That don't make any sense. You don't, so, you're like a group that doesn't really offer any entity on the transaction of anybody being around. I mean, you're more fixated on this fantasy of what you live up to in a ceiling of something you don't do to avoid the nuisance of what you've become to everybody else in the convenience of how obvious your small world is. When I'm versing more real world reverse perpendiculars of what is absent. Then we'll go with this one right here. And it's usually like that. Wow, dude, that's a bit of wasabi, but I gotta say, it's like it's kind of really awkward and discriminating that we couldn't find like a romanticist of like things that are like said in like nonchalant gestures or like a nicer way of saying that don't really show. Even if I may have wanted it, like, okay, so I feel like if I knew that this was gonna be raised, well, it was painting as well, so it's by color, so that's good. I'm like, no, I'm not going to abide by what something is saying by that, and that's a nuisance. You're not gonna be in the proximity of my grandfather's wishes to invert your life into some kind of absence of where you were wrong. I don't know what is wrong with you. I mean, when is the people making executions gonna be responsible for their perspective on other people's lives that they didn't live? It's kind of where I'm at with those kind of people. I promise radius wise and on any challenge the actual information that I have, I mean, it's not very threatening. You can't be blackmailed domestically to how you see yourself. Man, everything for this person to say something about themselves, and did anybody even look back for this person to prove that they had told the truth because they were hiding behind domestic? This is not about how this, like, inversion of a pool of what you don't value. I mean, so much as bug anybody this list. I feel like this is a capable list, and I don't know if it's trying to say it. You're a failed attempt at doing whatever that is. Yeah, whatever, dude. Somebody is like taking my suggestion and then proving themselves at the moment to say something or whatever. I'm like, what is romantic about the methodist of your action to do something that makes that the beauty of that if you didn't do anything? People have my sushi roll right here, but wow, dude, it's like I don't know what about that one. I'm pretty sure Jake Mitchell's was the Macomb officer, or that Jake Mitchell's is a hiding pretend idea of a fake first generation Asian family. Alright, this is what's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna get fired, or you'll be humiliated if you so much as think that you are saying something about anything. How could you live at somebody else's house and thinking that you're about to disrespect somebody else's because you think you're worth something? I don't care to babysit this family. What is this? You should go to the one of the parks right there, or you should get it so they detach. Do anything funny, and the town will find out. I definitely am for like the people that I like gonna take the time to do that. Right? It's just like inoperable, questionable. That is a mighty beautiful looking piece of sushi wasabi right there. What is this thing? The Lord Sushi. It's really cool because the episode will be like we made it together, and then that, and it's not like I only have anger, but it's like the hash rate of the conductor versus like the stasis of the logins for the new devices. I don't know. It might be a systemic doctor sneaking. I'll be like, wow, that's so great, but you're inoperating something to create the variable of an area you've already proven you don't secure. So, how does that help anybody? Alright, so for starters, it's my job to babysit whatever, and I'm not gonna be an alias to this idea of something I don't care about, because I do not. I'm 25 years old. You can pretend to have sharp points on saying that related. I got I have bigger, different issues of like, that I almost got to the application of the military, or that it was nice to have someone perceive the 85 unit of the town and then pretend you're like that, like Heather, to make it so that those things don't happen. I'm not like fruition by her, but I am ill perceived by how it's affecting the moment, and it is a like a physical connection between like somebody seeing what you're doing or whatever, and that could be a possibility. I found some good device. What what is the question? That's a it's a like pathetically attempted that I might have to fake it. It's okay though. It's like just a repeat of a self iteration on a held account. I like mine. I like. Look at that. That looks good. Like something. And I gotta put some salt in that thing. But man, somebody was just running me up. But anyways, if somebody can be suggested, then it was whatever. I was just annoyed. I just know that like any connection is not an alias of what I want, because I don't really want a blindsided family sneaking up on me. It didn't reap the whole pocket, even though that's how it was. I don't even know. That's not how I want to say my words, so I gotta use a different. The relationship, it's gonna be cards with other things that I'm more interested in, because it seemed more about the placement of the knot of what I was doing to say something. And that's not what I'm feeling. I'm more focused on the inanimate self of myself just being at place and romanticizing where that is to create gateways of whatever that is. Yeah, this is a cute one. So, like when we're doing stuff that we can keep those as well. It's gonna be like each block is like a dollar. It feels good. I had a good day. No good yesterday, and that was nice. Created a new character, which is kind of interesting. I want to show it in a correct way, so the serenading music that I have to myself in my ears kind of is like, I'd be like, I don't know, the funniest hypnotism of why you were saying that, because I was at the park behind the hospice, and then it was like my mind was, or some exterior entity to the drag was proposing to me, and that was very nice. it was a granite star. It's a sacred relic, but I remember. It wasn't that I like, not that I didn't wanna like. I don't care if it's even not generic. Like that's not anything that I ever said, but it's just. I think it's a perfect trick. Because when those people who don't look right, and then I'm like, you don't look right, then how can you even say? It looks too fashionable. You can't get on my level. I don't like that one. Oh my gosh. Alright, so once that gateway is passed, I don't know. There's not much. Gotta wait for the subsidiaries to that to be the determinants of that downward waterfall or unapplicable waterfall. I was like, thinking to myself how the shoreline and having a shore in the cupboard of where you're going really helps with directions. Almost got lost, but I had like a perfect way to do it. But I don't know if I'm opening up my local area to like the Royale tour of that, like the 360 tour. It's kind of being expanded on naturally, so I like it like that. It's adjusting my class a bit to get it to where it was. It could have been an ETH error where I had used that the would you want to do it anyways was the amount of the difference for a possible twice. No, probably I have no, maybe I had transferred that and then used that account which I was in translation to do that on the turnaround because that's was what it looked like when I was amnesiaing through the past amount. You know, guess what? The thing that is present to what you see to everything that goes fed is not this idea of what you are doing for whatever. That's a joke. You're a joke. You know, if I didn't talk like this, there wouldn't even be much. Well, do they look good? Do they? I just, you know, I have good strategy, man. I know what I'm doing. It looks cute. It looks cool. Would you eat the sushi cake? Like, if that was that big and had salmon on it, that's pretty romantic. I'd be like, wow, thanks to myself. How do you? I just gotta say, thank goodness. So the 100, 190, 80. That's where I lie. So, looking at the what part of you not seeing that the point of what I'm not trying to prove that you are trying to prove a point that you don't understand. You are pissed off. I don't think you will fight me like that. What did you mean to say, actually? You meant to say that you were being a prick, and then you thought this idea of this nothing of yourself was so rude about you, and that you're not gonna do it again if you want to be in the same area you're at? And that you're not observing your own attitude about other people, and you're gonna respect how you say where you live at and where they work. Don't come at me with I'm doing what's wrong and I'm proud about my act. I'm gonna have to say that I'm talking to a pretend girlfriend, and that I have some kind of collection on this list. Like, you have to at least pick one, like Anna or Armand or Love or Hope or Boo. See, there's even different heroes on the axis appropriately circled. I mean, it's like beta fish. So, 'cause I don't think any of these names are not inadequate of themselves, whether they are good or bad. It's like a anime show. And it seems not to be a good thing. It's a cute looking sushi thing. Look at that. Ha- I wish I wish it was adjusted like that way, and then a little bit else. Let's see. It's gonna be one of those intolerable miniatures of sushi right there. Well, if it's like that, if my emotions to what I say tell me on the hunt that I had found something in this area, when I had looked at it, this means what is that to say about how that exists? It's not a problem. It's just an open subject on how it's talking about something to kind of not be at that. I seen somebody stop by when I was at work, and I was like, wow, this person looks very Mormon Wesleyan to me, just sitting there in a factory losing passion on some fog story. Oh, 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 blah, blah, blah. Concrete sushi. Wow. Yeah. Sarcasm is everything when that's worth it. I don't know. What was that? I didn't really hear that part. I feel like we should work on a different one. It's not the most beautifulest creation, I gotta say, but here we go. Exclusive to written axes. Oh. Okay, let's try to build something else that we see here. I don't even know what I just said. Yeah, I was getting a lecture on what I said I liked about somebody, and it was like, you know, if you felt this way to a revenue of securities, safety, and risk, that what somebody was placing themselves as, and that's was pretty much the gist of the lecture on the sober about. I don't anything on that on sober, so I can pretend, so I could fast forward time. What should we try to make if I know how to? Else, I'm going to make a calculator. Some sort of patio. In addition to lines. Okay, let's see. Alright, there'll be. Oh, shoot. Then. There'll be. This one is actually was like doing things like that. So it's easier to do this tutorial with like music and thinking about. I'm trying to make it possible. It's not chocolate chip. All I hear is "Don't trust me, I'm wild," and interruptive. Yeah. Well, bruh, if you weren't on that list, I mean, it would create a warp tunnel through the nothingness of what that was. Okay. This could be trees if I try to do this like this. Some kind of dojo. And we need a real picture or something to make this easier. Let's see how we can do one tree. I'd rather not have my tree criticized right here. Then it's like this one. You went to Detroit to live in $4,000 homes with an attitude that's not even outside the door. I find that difficult to believe. Look, all you have to do is wait, and they just keep appearing. I'm pretty upset about that. Once it's this will be like one of those like places, a Zen Desk or something. Let's move. Okay, so to send this is a whole layer of that color. And then is that really like the last thing heard in an effort? Wow, yeah, that's embarrassing. Okay, so let's try to move this. this will be a perfect realm to create the macro field if we needed one. Difficult to tell what else would be wanted in there. So it's a meadow or a grove. There's this data crunch that thinks that they're figuring out something. It's kind of, it's not what I want. How could you be so quick to respond and you can't really see things through? They're not acting right. Yeah, right. It sounds like randoms looking for something at the door. It don't sound right to me. There must be a sentence that makes no sense. I thought somebody wanted me to do this tutorial, first of all, from Capital Failure Family. Yeah, it actually looks really, really cool. Maybe like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. And then let's have a 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, the first thing that you think that you were saying something about something to feel that you're capable of saying it don't mean that, you know, that this person, whoever, thinks that they can say it. Again, I don't really think that, and you know, if your unhumble existence to what you think about yourself, I can't report you and remove you from whatever I think. You're not gonna let propaganda fall through if you want a job. I'd be like, whoa, that was exactly what I was waiting for in this real life, but that's okay. We could play pretend life as well. I mean, I'm not even getting a vote on pretty much any of the bays on their own Trident. It's okay. Might get me with the counter right there. I was like, there'd be a perfect segment if it was something called like the blast on the challenge, and then somebody like a hope or one of those ones that seems to be very like Wesleyan and on top of everything, and then adds like an Olivia Scott Walsh on the top of it. That's what I was hoping for. That's more appropriate than making an unconsented song about your own problems. I mean, how does that add up in real life to just one hooligan? The thing I was hoping to learn about this is that it's the, well, I think this was a good implementation of what I like, but pretty much the saying goes is that if you're able to have a block, maybe it works, it's easier with a picture or whatever. But this thing's like the sporadic about what people are saying about this, and sometimes it don't make even any sense. But I just was not where I wanted my words and where I said on green juice. No way. Like, let's say if we're meditating on like the Naturia of something, or a nature deck or something, collectible collection, then we're doing something like that. I don't know what I was going on about. On impurities on the contrast, it's unacceptable to see it any other way. That's what I feel the mode is. Pretty much I got no problems with anything right now. It looks nice, but it just needs that one. That's that messed up tree right there. What even? You're too much. And then we have a nice pond right here. Even in the future, the pond. We'll put this one like this, and then fill it with a pool. Should it be a bit like that? Should I have a dock? Oh, shoot. Control Z, and then we click this, and then this is for these individuals. This is the easiest one. I can do that too. And putting that, this, paletting. Doesn't really look like. I use this color, this purple as clay. It's the clay color. Pretty exclusive. I think I suggested myself an golf for what I was saying, but it wasn't like anything really. Whoa, look at that. Is it gonna be sold as the whole ocean, or just that piece right there? I wonder if things can be, the ratios adjusted later. Like, if that is a super small one, then the... Looks cool. I say the outward trend of that's just so much space, maybe half of it. Half of that. I like the shorter height. 64, so remember 64? Oh my gosh, Tidal Wave. Now, should we go maybe 64, 64, 64? It's still a Tidal Wave. Mokuba. But I've been using the summoner of, who is that one? What is it? Mako. This is on the blue, so we can count how many pixels to get back to this. About 6. How does it feel to have that bit of a riff? I don't even know. Should it be called the forest? Suburban park? Nah, that was more like Forest One or something. Is that Forest Gump? We could see my other creation. I need like a, there we go. Then we can open. Sure. Now we can look at the other creation, and I gotta say, yeah, my stance was pretty sore with that. here is this boat I set here. It's got the life preserver right here, and then the, well, two, one right here, then a generic motor. This is the stuff. I hope that I can do like way better, that like I won't be joking myself and then be like, the resolution this much more, this like pretty much that much more. And a bit of a walkway. It's not really, it reminds me of that one Simpsons episode when he was talking about the gas duct. This, I don't know if it's called a silo or that here. I mean, if I was to, we'll see when we're better at this on how to go about that. Still just learning today, so it could have been attached to that right there. It's more perfect. And then there's evil tainted there, but I don't want any information getting into the source of this the stem of my neck becoming a problem and listening to this nonsense. You know, I'm a lot more fierce, a lot more trained, and a lot less merciful, and I can see how the revolver is somebody who doesn't think how they exist, but I think it's just the unconscious of something that is small, that nobody ever tried to show up for, to have that kind of whatever that would be the thing, and that kind of attitude is stupid. Is there anything else we want to add? I tried to make it a harpoon, but it came out more like a fishing pole. So if you don't play by this, but I mean, look at it. I'm trying to figure out how it's acting. We'll create different sets on this at least things we worked on. I'm surprised however it is, but that's okay. There we go. And then I was being somewhat. I can only so much hear that this other kind of social class, when somebody thinks about something of themselves, to be collective on that, how that's not working. Hey, if you want to be those things so much, you're completely like the cars yourself, which, you know, you're not a part of my life, so, you know, using those things, it's protected by a waste of time. I mean, that's all. That's all for that. That's not really anything. You know, who's the last voice, and where was order of identity, and the values next to this one construe to something worthless. It's a cute boat. Yeah, all making something looking better is pretty much like that. You know, adding all that detail. It's just this kind of looks like sand right here, so like that. So so we'll like see who creates the better land. I really like this one. I didn't really do anything to this one, and then I'm doing a procedure. It's not like I'm just doing nothing. All right. Thank you for watching. All right. Okay. Bye.